I'm here today to tell the story, my story, the story of my company, how I got started. It's just going to be very conversational. I will share 5 lessons that I learned from this journey. And before I get started, I just want to ask a couple questions. First, please raise your hand if you still paying your student loans. Anyone? Okay. And please raise your hands if you have kids. Okay, perfect. So everyone in this room will understand the inspiration behind UNest, why I started the company. So my name is Ksenia Yudina. I'm a CEO and founder of UNest. UNest is a platform that helps parents save and invest for their kids' education and other needs, and get gifts from friends and family into the child's account. The mission of the company is to help parents build a better future for their kids by democratizing access to the cost-efficient solutions for families. So a little bit of my background, because I think it's important to understand how I got here. As Trish mentioned, I came to the United States when I was 18 years old from the USSR, at the time when, Ukraine and Russia was still the same country. And I was very passionate about finance. My first job was actually at a mortgage company. Got my degree in finance in 2009. It was a terrible time to get to get a job in finance, and I had to actually pivot into real estate. So I started my own real estate company. It was a small company specialized in residential short sales. And in the meantime, because I was so passionate about finance and investments, I actually got to UCLA as a way to get into the career of my dreams. And in parallel, was also pursuing a CFA designation. So the interesting fact, I got to UCLA in the FEMBA program when I was 24 years old. I was the youngest student in my class, but was very ambitious. So I joined immediately all investment clubs. I got internship at JP Morgan, and my dream job was to get into large financial institution and build a corporate career. I did not study entrepreneurship. I did not know the term FinTech back in 2014 when I graduated. When I graduated, actually my dream job was to join Capital Group, which is a parent company of American Funds. And I got that dream job and I got into the wealth management division, and I was helping clients with financial advice. And that's where the inspiration of UNest came about. It was basically a combination of me being a parent, of me graduating from Anderson with student loans, just like many of you, and my professional background, understanding of what actually is broken in the industry. The first insight that I got at Capital was that for all of our clients, saving and investing for their children was the top investment priority. They never talked about retirement or any other needs. It was mostly about how do I set up the trust? How can I get 529 account? How can I get UTMA account? And then later on, we did confirm this finding with a lot of surveys that for parents, the kids is actually the number one priority. And I think a lot of people can relate in this room. The problem was that existing solutions for parents were very expensive, time-consuming, complex, involved a lot of paperwork. And even at Capital, which was or is the number one 529 provider, we still had to deal with 16 pages long financial applications. We had to mail them to clients for signature via FedEx, get it back. It was very time-consuming, not just for the clients, but for us as financial advisors. And then, a lot of my friends from UCLA graduated, started having families, and they reached out to me asking, hey, how can we start saving for our kids in a simple way? And they did not like, for some reason, the solution that I showed them, the financial application. A lot of them pushed back, and I was like, okay, what's the deal? And the response that I got was, hey, we already use Robinhood to trade. We use Venmo to send money. We use Mint for our budgeting need. Go find a better way. That was the response. I was 4 years into this Capital Group job, and I was like, oh my God, technology is already changing the world. Amazon kind of, changed the way we shop. Why can't we change the way parents save and invest for their children? So with that, about 4 years ago, I decided to jump the ship with Capital Group and start the company. So today, we built an app that helps parents save and invest for kids, get gifts from friends and family, learn about finance, get rewards from our brand partners. And we have over 150 brand partners on the platform, including Disney+, DoorDash, Uber Eats, and so on. And in the next iteration of the app, in this July, we're actually launching crypto. So ability for parents to buy and hold crypto for their kids for the next 10, 15, 20 years. So super excited about that. The biggest milestone that the company achieved to date, as Trish mentioned, we actually raised seed round of funding, Series A, and just closed Series B in November. The company valuation was 100 million. And we have received money from leading VCs, from Tim Draper's fund in San Francisco, from Antos Capital. It's a $1.5 billion fund in LA, from Northwestern Mutual, from Franklin Templeton, from Altair. So a lot of leading VCs and financial institutions backed us on our mission. This is just a quick kind of summary of UNest's journey to date. Right now, we have over 450,000 parents and kids on UNest platform. We became a broker-dealer, and we're regulated by FINRA. We signed a partnership with PayPal, and PayPal became a funding source in the app. We already acquired 2 other companies, Little Fund, that was a gifting platform for for parents to receive money in the kids' account, and Kid Fund, that was a savings account with a gifting component. As I mentioned, we already have 150 brand partners on UNest Rewards platform, and we transitioned to be fully remote. So now the fun part. So we only see typically the tip of the iceberg, right? When it's already the company achieved something, company accomplished something, and we see exciting press release about Series B, and we think, oh, it was probably so easy, anyone can do it. So I did want to share a little bit about beginning of this journey and some lessons learned. So my first lesson, fundraising in real life is very different from what we learn in business school. When I made the decision to jump ship with Capital Group, I went back to UCLA actually and joined one class on business development and venture with amazing professor Shinerock. I don't know if he's in the room, but in case he is, great professor. And I learned a lot. It helped to build a foundation of how you structure the pitch deck and how you write a business plan. And I spent several weeks drafting 40 pages long business plan. The fun part was that I did about 100 pitches during my seed round to 100 investors. I never had to show this business plan to any of them. No one ever asked about it. But it was great exercise. So another lesson was that no one told me in business school that there is a little bit of gender disbalance going on in the industry. If I knew at Capital, I honestly wouldn't quit my job. But what I learned is that only 2% of venture funds actually go to female entrepreneurs. In FinTech, it's much, much worse. I would say it's probably 0.0001%. So again, I already was on this journey, and I just, not a person that would quit easily, but I wish someone told me ahead of time. So let me see. But the good lesson is that if I could do it in terms of venture funds, I always tell Trish, tell you all of your portfolio companies in Accelerator, anyone can do it. So the next lesson actually relates to Trish and Accelerator. Network really matters for startups and when you start a business. I did join Accelerator kind of in an unofficial way. I wasn't I wasn't working from campus, but I did attend every single session because I decided to take advantage of all resources UCLA can offer. And there are 3 examples of how I was able to leverage that network. The first example was Ahmad, the CEO and founder of Retina AI. He was one of the speakers. after I've heard him speaking, we met for coffee, and I said, Ahmad, I'm looking for advisors. Can you help me with someone? He connected me to a guy who connected me to a guy who connected me to the CEO and president, ex-CEO and president, CEO and president of Acorns. And Paul became my advisor, and he brought on board Mike, who became a COO and head of growth at my company after 4 years at Acorns, and he brought a lot of great talent from Acorns. So that's example one. The second example is there was KPMG Spark that was presenting at UCLA Anderson. And I loved their business model. I did become the client, but most importantly, I became a friend with two founders or co-founders of the program, and they became investors in our business at our seed round as a syndicate. And another example, so Sanjay Reddy is alumni, and he is one of the partners of Unlock Ventures. And Unlock Ventures became investor in our seed round after Sanjay saw my final presentation at UCLA Accelerator. So anyone who considers it's never too late to attend, or if you know students that are contemplating, I would say highly recommend. It was a huge help for me. Another lesson: be generous with good advisors. So the way I was breaking kind of barriers after realizing that not only I am a female entrepreneur, I'm a sole founder without any prior track record. It was super challenging for me to raise the first round of capital. So what I realized is that I need to surround myself with the right mentors and advisors and be really generous, give them equity in the company for they believe in me and for their ability to open the right doors. And I never regretted this. I know that a lot of young entrepreneurs make this mistake that why would I give equity to someone? But percent of zero equals zero. A lot of founders don't realize it. In order to create value, you actually have to share. So yeah, resilience. I would say that's probably one of the most popular words associated with me, in the press or when any VC talks about me. But I would just give a couple examples. So the first one I already talked about was a seed round where I had to demonstrate a lot of resilience. And I probably thought so many times, I'm done, this is enough. I just need to go back to the corporate life. But I kept pushing and I never regretted. I really wanted to see what's on the other side of this tunnel. Another interesting example, we decided to raise our Series A in March of 2020. Perfect timing. We had a board meeting and everyone looked at our metrics and looked at our exponential growth and said, guys, you ready? Go do it. I scheduled meetings left and right, New York, San Francisco, LA. And in 2 days, we went on complete lockdown. So again, just kept pushing. I reached out to some existing investors and explained what's going on. And Antus, who was already one of the biggest investors in UNest, led our Series A. Another interesting example, we actually had to pivot during COVID, right in the middle of pandemic, and change the entire backend from one provider to another provider. We went into the lawsuit with one of the 529 providers in the nation, but we kept pushing. And one of the interesting reasons why we decided to switch and pivot was because we started business as a 529 provider because I was a huge fan and I love tax advantages and I thought this is the best solution for our clients. And then I realized that our clients are not high net worth individuals that I had as my clients at Capital Group. They were average Americans. And they were not so sure that the kids will go to college. And they did not like the fact that they can lose all gains, and all tax advantages and be penalized on the gains if kids don't go to college. And they had different priorities for their children, like buying the first car or buying the first house. So we decided to pivot into a different type of account called UTMA, which is more flexible, but also tax advantaged. So the last lesson is the main reason investors invest in a startup is the team. It was an interesting observation. When I was trying to raise money on my own, I wasn't successful. And one of the reasons was because I didn't have a track record. And investors explained that look, you have an amazing opportunity, amazing market, but you know what? Competitors may come along, market may change, economy may change, you may need to pivot, you may need to change your business model, but we will always support experienced and strong team that shows ability to execute. And I made it my purpose to build a very strong team. So right now we have teammates who came from Acorns, Robinhood, Marqeta, like a lot of strong fintechs, and that improved our chances to fundraise and to succeed. So Michelle was asking me in her notes to share a little bit about balancing your own needs and priorities. I would say there is not much balance. And I had to make a lot of sacrifices. And I left my kids at home when I was traveling around the country, San Francisco, Florida, New York, during the seed round. But I would say the journey all worth it. I don't have any regrets. Thank you so much.